It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon in Los Angeles when Keanu Reeves, dressed in a plain hoodie and jeans, walked into a small grocery store. He liked shopping at places like this. No flashing cameras, no whispers, no fuss. Just the hum of old fluorescent lights and the smell of fresh bread. He wandered the aisles with a simple list in his hand: coffee, fruit, bread. But as he turned down the baby supplies aisle, something caught his eye: a girl, no older than 16, clutching a pack of newborn diapers. She looked completely out of place, like a child pretending to be an adult. Her eyes were puffy, her hands trembling as she counted coins from her pocket. Keanu stopped, watched. Something inside him stirred. She didn't see him. She just stood there, alone in the aisle of uncertainty, holding on to those diapers like her life depended on it. Keanu lingered near the magazine rack as the girl moved toward the checkout. She placed the diapers on the belt, eyes avoiding the cashiers. She whispered something, maybe a question about the price. The cashier gave a tired shrug and rang it up. The total flashed $11.79. She had $9.25. She started pulling out a single dollar bill, then some loose change from her pocket, counting every cent. Embarrassment washed over her. People in line began to shift impatiently. Keanu stepped forward. He didn't say much, just handed the cashier a 20 and nodded. The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes locked with his, and in that 1 second, he saw pain deeper than any performance he had ever given on screen. A quiet, desperate thank you trembled from her lips. She left the store quickly, hugging the bag to her chest, disappearing into the drizzle outside. Keanu stood for a moment, unsure why he felt so drawn to her. He didn't normally get involved. He lived a life of quiet gestures, donations, charities, helping when no one looked. But this felt different. He walked out, saw her across the street, standing at a bus stop. Alone. Shivering. The pack of diapers tacked under her arm like a shield. Something told him to follow, not out of suspicion, but out of concern. It wasn't fame that moved him. It was empathy. The kind of empathy born from personal loss. And as the bus came and she stepped on, Keanu made a decision that would change everything. He followed. The bus rolled through the city, past glass towers and rusted fences, turning into quieter neighborhoods with cracked sidewalks and graffiti-covered signs. Keanu sat a few rows behind her, hoodie up, head low. She didn't notice him. She stared out the window, her eyes heavy, tired. He watched as she clutched the diapers to her chest like a promise. Her face was soft, but her eyes told stories, ones of sleepless nights, unanswered prayers, and maybe even a broken home. As the bus came to a final stop, she stepped off and walked toward a row of rundown apartments. Keanu hesitated, but followed. His heart thumped with something more than concern now. It was déjà vu. It was memory. It was heartbreak. She climbed the cracked stairs of a faded apartment building, carefully unlocking the door to Unit 3B. Keanu paused at the sidewalk, unsure whether to go closer. But then, her door swung slightly open behind her. Just enough for him to hear. A baby cried. Her voice followed, soft and trembling. "It's okay, Mama's here. I got them. I got your diapers." Keanu's breath caught in his throat. He leaned against the lamppost, overcome by something he couldn't explain. The fragility of life. The quiet strength of a girl forced into motherhood. And the unmistakable ache of a past he thought he buried. For a long moment, he just stood there, watching, remembering, feeling it all rise up again. And for the first time in a long time, he cried. Keanu didn't sleep that night. He sat in his quiet apartment with only the city lights for company. A single photo rested on his desk, a woman with long dark hair laughing as she held a baby bump. Jennifer, his great love, the child they had lost before birth. He had never told anyone what it felt like to lose both of them, one in a crash, the other never getting the chance to cry her first breath. Now, out of nowhere, this strange young girl and her baby had awakened memories he had buried beneath years of silence. He wiped away a tear and whispered to the night, "Why her? Why now?" The next morning, Keanu returned to the apartment building. No security, no crowd. Just an aging complex filled with lives quietly surviving. He didn't knock. Just waited by the sidewalk, hoping she might appear again. Hours passed. Finally, the door opened. She stepped out holding the baby, wrapped in a worn blanket, tiny fingers reaching for her face. Keanu took a step forward. She saw him this time. Fear flickered in her eyes, but only for a moment. Then recognition. Then confusion. "You followed me?" she asked, voice tight. He raised his hands. "I'm not here to scare you. I wanted to make sure you were okay." They sat on the stoop in silence. She rocked the baby gently while Keanu watched the clouds roll by. After a long pause, she spoke. "Her name's Hope." Keanu smiled softly. "That's a beautiful name." She looked at him, vulnerability in her eyes. "I'm not asking for anything. I'm just trying to figure this out. I didn't expect to raise her alone." Keanu nodded, heart aching. "You're not the only one who's lost someone." That was the moment something shifted. Not as strangers. Not as celebrity and fan. Just two broken people sitting side by side, carrying the weight of love that once was, and love they were learning to give again. Later that afternoon, Keanu returned with groceries. Fresh vegetables. Baby formula. A loaf of warm bread. She hesitated to let him in, but the baby's needs outweighed her pride. Inside the apartment was sparse, a broken heater, peeling wallpaper, but clean. Keanu helped her prepare soup. Nothing fancy. Just warmth and food and silence, broken only by Hope's occasional cooing. For the first time in what felt like ages, Keanu laughed, really laughed, when Hope grabbed his finger and wouldn't let go. And for the girl, whose name he finally learned was Emily, this small kindness meant more than all the charity in the world. As the evening sun dipped below the skyline, Emily walked Keanu to the door. Before he stepped outside, she looked up at him, her voice barely a whisper. "You remind me of what I wish my dad could have been." Keanu froze. That one sentence, just a few words, pierced through the layers he'd built around his heart. All the loss. All the silence. All the pretending. He looked at her, this brave, fragile soul, and nodded with wet eyes. "I'm honored." As he walked away, something in him changed. Not because he saved her, but because, in some unspoken way, she had saved him too. Keanu drove home in silence, but the silence wasn't empty, it was full. Full of questions, full of meaning. Emily's words echoed in his mind. Asterisk, "You remind me of what I wish my dad could have been." Asterisk. That wasn't flattery. That was trust. That was pain stitched into a sentence. He saw so much of himself in her, navigating a life full of grief with nothing but grit and a gentle heart. That night, he stared at the ceiling, wondering if all his losses had led him to that exact aisle in the grocery store, to that girl, to that baby, to that whisper. The next morning, Keanu returned to the apartment again, but this time, the door was closed and a note was taped to it. He peeled it off and unfolded it. Keanu, thank you for seeing me when the world didn't. I'm not sure what tomorrow looks like, but yesterday gave me hope. If you ever want to stop by, Hope and I will be here. Emily. He folded the note gently, like it was made of glass. Hope. What a powerful thing, he thought. Not just the baby's name, but the feeling she gave him. Over the next few weeks, Keanu visited regularly. He brought diapers, food, baby clothes, books. But more than anything, he brought presents. He never tried to fix everything. He just showed up. And with every visit, Emily grew more confident. Hope smiled more. And Keanu, he healed more than he ever thought possible. One afternoon, Emily snapped a photo of Keanu holding Hope, her tiny fingers tugging at his beard while he laughed freely. That photo went nowhere. It wasn't meant for tabloids. It was a memory sealed in a little apartment where something extraordinary happened between three ordinary souls. Years passed. Keanu didn't broadcast this chapter of his life. No headlines, no interviews. Just quiet love, like he always believed in. Hope grew up knowing a gentleman who showed up with books, who made pancakes badly, and who never treated her mom like she was less than powerful. Emily finished high school, then community college. One day, she surprised Keanu with a framed diploma and whispered, "You helped me believe I was worth something." And again, he cried. Not because of sadness, but because of healing. In a world obsessed with fame and flash, Keanu had found something far richer, an anonymous act of kindness that became a bond for life. He often remembered that day in the store. How a whisper, just a whisper, had broken his walls down. "You remind me of what I wish my dad could have been." That one sentence brought him back to life. And in return, his presence gave Emily and Hope the very thing they were missing, a sense of safety, of family, of hope. Sometimes, the most powerful moments in life come quietly and change everything forever.